Papoose exposed? Claressa Shields' pool video sparks major Remy Ma drama. Flushed face. Alright, buckle up because what Papoose just put on display by that resort pool could easily go down as one of the most damaging 30-second clips a public figure has willingly handed the internet. This is the same Papoose who spent the past year and a half insisting in interviews and public appearances that he was still legally married to Remy Ma, yet now he is relaxing poolside with Claressa Shields in a way that instantly sent social media into total overdrive. Meanwhile, Remy Ma is nowhere near that vacation scene, instead celebrating her birthday surrounded by friends, family, and genuine supporters, looking completely unbothered while the entire internet focuses on someone else's questionable choices. And trust me, this is where things start getting interesting because when you line up all the pieces, the picture does not exactly favor Papoose. You will not believe how quickly public opinion shifted, and suddenly he looks less like a devoted, patient husband and more like someone handing critics all the legal and personal evidence they need. Are you seeing what everyone else is seeing right now? I am not here to label Papoose or make wild accusations today, but I am simply pointing out that a man who has repeatedly and publicly referred to Remy Ma as his legal wife is now appearing in affectionate, intimate poolside moments with Claressa Shields, who recently referred to him online as her hubby. Is this pure disrespect or an absolute legal disaster waiting to happen? Now let us dive directly into the heart of this unfolding circus, because when you step back and look at the cast of characters involved, the sheer scale of the audacity is almost too wild to digest. We are talking about Papoose, a man who spent literally decades carefully constructing a public image as hip-hop's ultimate devoted partner, the loyal husband who stood by his queen through thick and thin, through prison bids, career struggles, and the relentless meat grinder of reality television. But right now, that entire golden reputation is dissolving in real time right beside a luxury resort swimming pool. Enter Claressa Shields, a woman who is undeniably a global powerhouse in the boxing ring, an Olympic gold medalist and an undisputed champion, but who is now stepping into the court of public opinion carrying a massive torch in a very complicated, unresolved love triangle. And then, of course, there is Remy Ma, New York rap royalty, who has survived federal prison sentences, brutal rap beefs, and industry backstabbing, now watching all of this play out from a comfortable distance while the internet tears itself apart trying to figure out what is actually going on. This is not just a minor disagreement or a casual celebrity breakup. This has turned into a full-scale public spectacle packed with bizarre claims, leaked rumors, and alleged backroom maneuvers that sound more like a prime-time soap opera than reality. People who have followed hip-hop culture for years are utterly stunned because Papoose was supposed to be the sensible one, the man who always preached patience, loyalty, and holding down the family unit at all costs. Yet here he is, caught dead center in a storm of his own making choices that leave even his most dedicated fans scratching their heads in absolute confusion. For months, rumors have been quietly circulating through industry inner circles that things behind closed doors were nowhere near as solid as the couple portrayed on camera. But nobody expected the dam to break quite like this. Insiders and internet sleuths are now digging up past interviews, old footage, and alleged industry chatter that suggests this rift has been brewing for a very long time, hidden behind a carefully managed curtain of public appearances and social media posts. The contrast between what Papoose was selling to the public and what was actually happening behind the scenes is quickly becoming the main talking point across every commentary platform on the web. Every time he stepped in front of a microphone over the last year, he made sure to emphasize that his legal marriage to Remy Ma was still intact, almost using that legal status as a shield against any criticism or speculation regarding his personal life. But actions always speak louder than carefully chosen words, and the moment those poolside clips hit the internet, that entire narrative crumbled into pieces, leaving critics and supporters alike demanding answers to questions that have been avoided for far too long. To really understand how we got to this point of total madness, you have to look back at the trail of breadcrumbs and strange occurrences that have been piling up over the past few years, adding to what has now become a massive cloud of skepticism surrounding Papoose's true motives. For a long time, fans gave him the benefit of the doubt because his track record seemed so clean. But as more details emerge from anonymous sources and industry commentators, people are beginning to re-examine every single thing he has said publicly. There have been ongoing whispers about elaborate financial entanglements, extravagant spending habits, and quiet backroom negotiations over shared assets that were kept completely under wraps, while both parties maintained a united front for the cameras. Critics are pointing to past moments where Papoose seemed suspiciously eager to control the narrative, using his sharp lyrical skill and articulate media presence to spin complicated personal situations into stories of heroic patience and unwavering devotion. But behind that smooth talk, alleged reports from individuals claiming to be close to the situation paint a completely different picture of a relationship that had devolved into an absolute standoff over legal paperwork, money, and power dynamics. The public image was built on the foundation of an unbreakable bond, yet behind the scenes, legal teams were reportedly throwing allegations back and forth, stalling proceedings, and arguing over terms while the public remained completely in the dark. It is that exact disconnect between public posturing and private reality that makes this whole situation feel so intensely explosive to everyone watching it unfold. When a public figure spends years positioning themselves as a moral benchmark for relationships in the entertainment industry, the fall from grace is always 10 times harder and faster when the illusion finally shatters under the weight of reality. The internet does not forget, and it certainly does not forgive easily when it feels like it has been sold a fake storyline for the sake of branding and reality television checks. Every past interview where he spoke down on other people's relationship drama or offered sage advice on how to maintain a long-term marriage is now being clipped up, replayed, and mocked across social media feeds, exposing a level of irony that is almost impossible to ignore. As the suspense builds and more details leak out, the public reaction has shifted from mild curiosity into an absolute frenzy of investigation, critique, and high-stakes commentary. Emphatic phrases and wild theories are flying around the internet faster than anyone can keep up with, as commentators break down every frame of available media like forensic scientists working a high-profile case. People are calling out the sheer absurdity of trying to play both sides of the fence, claiming to be a devoted legal husband on one hand while behaving like an unbothered bachelor on the other, all while the camera is rolling in high definition. The sheer public spectacle of it all has elevated this scandal from routine gossip into a major culture conversation about transparency, double standards, and how legal reality collides with social media fantasy. People who used to root for Papoose are now actively questioning his credibility, wondering if the persona they admired for over a decade was simply a well-crafted marketing strategy designed to keep his name relevant in an industry that moves on remarkably fast. Meanwhile, every quiet move Remy Ma makes is being analyzed as a strategic masterclass in how to handle public disrespect, creating a massive psychological divide between how the two parties are being viewed by the public right now. The tension is palpable, and with every passing hour, new takes, leaked details, and commentary videos are dropping, ensuring that this story remains fixed right at the top of the trending topics. Nobody knows exactly what document will leak next, or what statement will be released to damage control the fallout. But one thing is crystal clear to everyone paying attention. The old narrative is officially dead. The legal questions are mounting by the day, and Papoose has managed to put himself in a corner where words alone are no longer going to be enough to fix his standing with the public. This entire situation has spiraled far beyond a basic relationship split into a full-on battle for public perception, legal high grounds, and personal legacy, setting the stage for an even bigger fallout that nobody involved seems fully prepared to navigate smoothly. The contrast between Papoose's quiet stance during times of real scrutiny and his very loud presence in viral vacation clips has created an open goal for critics who have been waiting for years to pick apart his public squeaky clean image. Every single choice made in front of a phone camera or near a resort pool is now carrying massive weight, dragging legal technicalities and long-standing personal grievances right into the center of the spotlight for millions of people to judge. As social media users keep refreshing their feeds for the next update, the pressure continues to mount on everyone involved to finally lay all their cards on the table and stop hiding behind vague statements or silent deflection. The intricate web of claims, financial rumors, and unresolved legal paperwork has created a powder keg that is just waiting for the next spark to completely explode into court battles and public tell-alls. And right as the public thought they had seen every possible angle of this bizarre situation, the background rumors regarding legal maneuvers and secret filings started leaking out, pushing this drama into an entirely new chapter of chaotic breakdown. And as those secret filings and background rumors begin trickling out into the light, the full breakdown of this scandal is revealing a web of details so exaggerated and messy that it reads like an anonymous whistleblower report straight out of a Hollywood boardroom. Anonymous industry insiders and self-proclaimed legal observers have started floating leaked claims about what has actually been happening behind closed doors over the past 2 years, and the picture they paint is far from pretty. According to these circulating reports, the ongoing delay in finalizing the divorce is not just a matter of slow court dates or miscommunication, but an intense war over assets, hidden accounts, and alleged financial leverage. Whispers from supposed sources close to the situation claim that behind the scenes, there has been a bitter dispute over shared real estate properties, music publishing catalogs, and joint business accounts accumulated throughout their long-term public partnership. Some reports go as far as to allege that lavish spending sprees, extravagant resort bookings, and high-end lifestyle expenses were being routed through disputed accounts, while the legal team was actively arguing that funds were frozen. Imaginary quotes from allegedly leaked text messages and anonymous friends are surfacing everywhere, with one supposed insider claiming that Papoose was adamantly demanding a massive lump sum financial settlement before signing off on the final dissolution papers. Whether these leaked claims are completely accurate or wildly embellished by the internet hype machine, the sheer volume of these allegations has completely shifted how the public views the standoff. People are no longer just looking at a simple romantic fallout. They are looking at what appears to be a cold, calculated chess match where public image and financial control are being fought over with extreme intensity. The public reactions to these alleged investigative findings have been nothing short of explosive, with commentary channels and social media sleuths dissecting every single piece of information like a high-profile white-collar crime investigation. Fans are pointing out the immense irony of a man who built his entire modern career on the back of a loyal, family-first brand now being accused of using legal technicalities to stall a divorce while living up a luxurious lifestyle with a new partner. The comment sections across major platforms are overflowing with viewers expressing utter disbelief at the alleged abuse of legal delays, with many calling out the blatant double standard on display. When Claressa Shields posted those now infamous clips from the resort pool, showing Papoose relaxing in high-luxury surroundings and casually referring to him with affectionate titles, it felt to many like a deliberate victory lap funded by an unresolved past. Critics were quick to point out that indulging in high-end vacations, private cabanas, and lavish lifestyle displays while your legal wife is publicly offering to pay your legal fees just to sign the paperwork creates an incredible contrast. The internet began circulating fake quotes, sarcastic memes, and biting commentary, asking how someone can claim to be financially tied up in court negotiations while simultaneously living like royalty on viral videos. Every luxury detail in those videos, from the upscale resort backdrop to the high-end designer gear, became instant fuel for critics who argued that the priorities on display were completely warped. The public reaction quickly transformed from shock into widespread ridicule, with thousands of users questioning the ethics of parading an unfinalized personal life in front of millions of onlookers who are actively watching the legal system wait for a signature. Adding even more fuel to this roaring fire are the outrageous claims regarding who is actually controlling the narrative and how deep the manipulation goes. Supposedly leaked reports from anonymous music industry figures claim that this entire public dynamic was intentionally allowed to drag out to generate endless headlines, keeping all parties relevant in digital news cycles. According to these rumors, certain parties realize that as long as the divorce remains unresolved, every single move, vacation, or cryptic social media post would guarantee front-page blog coverage and massive engagement numbers. Imaginary sources have allegedly quoted representatives from both sides throwing heavy accusations, with one side claiming that the legal holdup is a strategic power play to force a lucrative television or podcast sit-down deal before the ink dries on the court papers. On the other hand, defenders of Papoose claim that he is simply being scapegoated, and that the legal paperwork is stuck in a bureaucratic nightmare involving complex cross-state filings between New Jersey and New York. But the court of public opinion moves much faster than state jurisdiction, and the internet has already drawn its own harsh conclusions based on the optics alone. The narrative that Papoose was the long-suffering, patient partner who was wronged in the marriage is now being aggressively challenged by critics who view his current actions as proof of long-standing hypocrisy. Every new quote dropped by internet commentators adds another layer of drama, making it almost impossible for the average viewer to distinguish between real legal facts and sensationalized online gossip. What makes this breakdown even more fascinating to the online crowd is the total contrast in how the key figures are handling the fallout on a daily basis. while Papoose and Claressa Shields continue to generate noisy headlines through flashy public appearances and affectionate social media updates. Remy Ma has maintained an almost eerie level of composure that speaks volumes without saying a word. Industry observers note that by refusing to engage in messy back-and-forth internet arguments, Remy Ma is effectively letting the optics of the situation do all the heavy lifting for her public reputation. While anonymous sources continue to leak wild stories about financial demands and stalled court dates, her decision to focus on her own milestones, career moves, and family celebrations has earned her massive praise from fans who view her as the ultimate professional. Commentators are pointing out that in the court of public perception, the person who remains calm and unbothered almost always comes out looking like the victor, while the ones making loud, flashy moves look desperate for validation. The contrast between Remy Ma celebrating her birthday surrounded by genuine supporters and Papoose lounging by a resort pool under a cloud of unresolved legal questions has become the defining image of this entire scandal. The internet loves a clear narrative, and right now, the public has firmly cast Papoose as the individual handing out all the evidence needed to ruin his own carefully built legacy. As these fake investigative findings and leaked rumors continue to dominate every pop culture feed, the sheer momentum of the controversy is forcing everyone involved into a corner where a public reckoning feels completely inevitable. The constant stream of commentary, breakdown videos, and social media debates has turned a private marital dispute into one of the most talked about pop culture scandals of the year, leaving no room for anyone to hide behind vague PR statements. The tension is reaching an absolute boiling point as viewers demand real proof, actual court documents, and concrete answers instead of endless resort videos and cryptic captions. Every single detail that gets exposed, whether it is a disputed bank record, a leaked text message, or a high-end vacation clip, adds another brick to a wall of public criticism that is becoming impossible to tear down. The sheer absurdity of the situation has created an environment where every new post is treated like breaking news, keeping millions of people glued to their screens waiting to see who will make the next move. And as the public backlash grows stronger by the day, the focus is rapidly shifting from petty social media drama to the very real, very serious legal and financial consequences that are about to come crashing down on this entire situation. And when those legal and financial consequences finally collide with reality, the resulting wreckage is going to make this entire internet circus look like a mere prelude to an absolute catastrophe. We are talking about the kind of high-stakes fallout that does not just end with petty social media commentary or temporary unfollows. We are looking at potential family court probes, asset freezes, and forensic financial audits that could completely dismantle Papoose's financial standing. Family law attorneys looking at this situation from the outside are already pointing out that publicly flaunting an extravagant lifestyle with a new partner while an active marriage is legally unresolved is quite literally the worst strategic decision a person can make during divorce negotiations. Judges in marital court proceedings do not look favorably upon individuals who appear to be stalling settlement agreements while simultaneously spending shared marital capital on luxury vacations, resort cabanas, and high-end gifts for a third party. If Remy Ma's legal team decides to push the button, they could easily request a full accounting of all expenditures made over the past 2 years, forcing Papoose to prove that zero joint marital funds were used to finance these viral public outings with Claressa Shields. Imagine the sheer embarrassment of having your bank statements, credit card records, and resort receipts dragged into a courtroom setting, where every single dinner bill and flight ticket is scrutinized line by line under oath. That is not just a personal nightmare. That is a financial crisis in the making that could leave his accounts completely drained before a final judgment is even entered. Beyond the immediate threat of courtroom audits, the broader fallout is already beginning to poison the commercial ventures and brand partnerships that both Papoose and Claressa Shields rely on for their livelihoods. In today's corporate environment, major brands, network producers, and corporate sponsors do not just invest in talent or athletic talent. They invest in clean, marketable public images that align with corporate values. For years, Papoose was able to leverage his dedicated husband narrative to secure lucrative television appearances, brand endorsements, and executive positions in independent media labels. But now that the devoted family man persona has been thoroughly shattered by his own hands, those corporate partners are quietly stepping back, assessing the risk and rethinking their contracts. Nobody wants their household brand tied to an individual who is currently being dragged across every blog on the internet for legal hypocrisy and public disrespect toward a beloved hip-hop figure. And for Claressa Shields, the stakes are arguably even higher because her global reputation as an Olympic legend and undisputed boxing champion was built on absolute discipline, focus, and untouchable athletic excellence. Surrounding herself with this level of messy, unresolved relationship drama creates an unnecessary distraction that corporate sponsors and athletic commissions traditionally despise. When major sports apparel brands and mainstream sponsors evaluate multi-million-dollar deals, they look at off-ring controversies, and being dragged into a viral love triangle with a married man is definitely not on any corporate marketing checklist. The fallout is no longer just contained to hip-hop commentary. It is threatening to bleed directly into bank accounts, athletic legacies, and television deals across the board. The public backlash is also creating a massive cultural crisis for Papoose within the very community that supported him for over 2 decades. Hip-hop culture has always respected authenticity, integrity, and standing by your word, which is precisely why the reaction from longtime fans has been so unforgiving. People who spent years defending Papoose in comment sections, holding him up as the gold standard of male loyalty in the music industry, are now feeling completely foolish for having bought into the illusion. Commentary channels, podcasts, and culture reviewers are having a field day, pulling up vintage interviews where Papoose spoke with supreme moral authority about honor, commitment, and holding down your partner. Replaying those clips alongside fresh footage of him lounging poolside with a woman calling him her hubby, while he still owes his legal wife a signature on divorce papers, creates an overwhelming level of public embarrassment. The court of public opinion has effectively stripped him of his elder statesman status in the culture, replacing it with a reputation for bad optics, legal deflection, and questionable judgment. Even hip-hop purists who usually stay out of gossip topics are weighing in, stating that no amount of lyrical talent or slick talk can erase the fact that he handled his personal affairs in the messiest way possible. When your own core fanbase turns their back on you and begins viewing your every move as a joke, rebuilding that lost credibility becomes an almost impossible uphill battle that no PR firm can fix overnight. To make matters even more complicated, there is the growing conversation surrounding the legal ambiguities and ethical boundaries regarding public status versus legal reality. While nobody is claiming that Papoose and Claressa Shields have entered into an official second marriage, publicly presenting yourselves as husband and wife across international media, while an existing legal marriage remains active, creates massive legal confusion that attorneys strictly warn against. In states like New Jersey and New York, where marital laws are strict regarding marital property and ongoing support obligations, these public displays can be weaponized in court to argue bad faith during property division. Every time a new video drops or another caption goes viral, it provides Remy Ma's legal team with additional ammunition to argue that the delay in finalizing the divorce is causing reputation harm and emotional strain, potentially opening the door for massive spousal support claims or higher percentage splits of marital assets. What Papoose may have viewed as a simple vacation post or a casual display of affection has effectively transformed into a legal minefield where every single action can and will be used against him in a court of law. The sheer carelessness of allowing these moments to be recorded and broadcast to millions of people shows a profound failure to calculate the long-term consequences, leaving critics to wonder if anyone in his inner circle was brave enough to give him honest legal advice before he hit publish. And as this dramatic fallout continues to expand in real time, the human element behind the headlines is becoming impossible to ignore, adding a heavy layer of seriousness to what started as viral entertainment. Beyond the memes, the jokes, and the endless commentary videos, there are real family dynamics, children, and long-standing personal relationships being dragged through the dirt on a global stage. Children who grow up in the digital age will eventually read these headlines, watch these breakdown videos, and see their family name turned into a trending punchline across social media platforms for years to come. That is the true cost of choosing public vanity and viral attention over private legal resolution and quiet respect. Remy Ma seems to have recognized this reality long ago, choosing to step back, remain silent, and allow the legal process and time to expose the truth without adding to the public circus. Her quiet confidence and refusal to roll around in the mud with internet commentators has protected her dignity while leaving Papoose and Claressa Shields to face the full force of the public backlash entirely on their own. The contrast between dignity under pressure and reckless public behavior has never been clearer, and the audience has made its final verdict on who handled this situation like a true mature adult. As the dust begins to settle on this explosive chapter, the impending legal resolutions, potential financial losses, and permanent brand damage are setting up a final confrontation that cannot be avoided much longer. Court dates are looming, legal teams are preparing their final filings, and the public is standing by waiting for the final documents that will officially bring this toxic situation to a close. The narrative of the loyal, patient husband is officially dead and buried, replaced by a cautionary tale of how quickly a carefully crafted reputation can be destroyed by a single 30-second video clip. The fallout is far from over. The consequences are only beginning to take effect, and the entire internet is holding its breath to see how this high-stakes drama